Hello, friends. Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, and a very special welcome to our author, Martha McNiel. Hi, Martha.
Hi, Miriam.
How are you doing?
I am very excited to be here, and I'm very excited that it's finally launch day because I've been waiting for this day for a long time. So I'm actually very excited.
Oh, so am I. Please show everybody your book and share the title.
So this is the book. It's called Sir Harold Rucker, and it's inspired by the true story of a therapy dog.
I love that. I love that. So please tell everybody what the book is about and who it's for.
So this book is a true story about a German Shepherd dog who had many bad things happen to him early in his life. But he did not give up, and he did not become discouraged, and he did not become mean. And he went on to have an amazing life, bringing joy and comfort to many, many people. And
That's so good.
I would say it's for children ages 4 to 8, and for anybody who loves dogs, and for anybody who roots for the underdog.
Mhm. That's important. I always love that in a story. What is it that you hope that parents and kids will take away from this book?
Um, I'm going to cry talking about this, but the main thing that I was thinking about this dog's life and just about how resilient he was. And so the thing that I want parents and kids to take away is just to be encouraged to not give up when hard things happen, that bad things can happen to you and you can still go on and have a really amazing life. And so but that's one thing, is I want people to not give up if something bad happens. Um,
Mhm.
and another thing I'm hoping people will take away is that if they're considering getting a dog for their family, that they will consider going to a shelter and adopting a shelter dog, because there are so many truly fabulous dogs waiting in shelters, waiting for homes. And so I hope that people will say, wow, this is a really cool dog. And he was a rescue. He was dumped. And there's other great dogs out there like that. And then the other thing, I have lots of hopes for this book. The other thing I'm hoping that parents and kids will take away from this book is that um, one of the goals from my series is that children would learn that there are many jobs in the world that involve working with animals that help people. And so I want kids to realize this is a possible job for you as you're considering careers in the future. Be thinking about the fact that you could work with the animals that you love and you could really help people while you do that. So I'm kind of hoping it's also just opens an idea, that they will hold that in their mind as they look about at possible jobs down the line.
That's so good. So you mentioned your first book. Would you please tell everybody, show everybody that first book in the series and share what that book is about?
So this is the first one in the series. It's called Poppy and Daisy's Big Adventure. And it's about two ponies that were born in the wild and now work in the therapy program. And so my series is called The Dream Power Tales. And recently I had somebody ask me, how many books are you going to write in this series? And I said, oh, it's limitless. There are so many great stories waiting to be told. But the series is about animals that help people. And
Mhm.
so all true stories about real animals that really do help people. Um,
Oh, so good. So good for children to see that. And that book has done really well. I saw an award on the cover. Tell us a little bit about that.
so it did receive the Mom's Choice Award. And it's actually available in English, Spanish, and Ukrainian. Um, and so it is being read around the world in several languages.
So great. So great. So would you hold both books up, please? I want to tell everybody watching that both books, Sir Harold Rucker and Poppy and Daisy's Big Adventure, are available on Amazon. So make sure to go there, grab a couple of copies of these wonderful books. You heard this incredible message about children seeing animals. I mean, so many messages that you shared, but one, having the opportunity, having the thought that they could grow up and work with animals, one of them. And then that other message, that one is so dear to my heart, that you can have things go bad in your life. You can have a tough childhood, but you can still grow up to be a success and to be a happy person. I think that message is so valuable for children to learn at an early age, because life is not always great and amazing, right? We all go through a lot of things, but to know that in a children's book, I think is so important. I really believe that we can change the world with quality children's books. So, Martha, thank you for writing two amazing, amazing books. Let's talk for a minute about the process of now writing and publishing a second book. How was this process different than the first time for you?
So the biggest change for me from first time to the second time was my approach to editing. So when I wrote my first book, I got it back, got my first draft back, and I felt like Sharon had said, this is stupid, and you should rewrite 95% of it. It wasn't exactly that, but it was not far away from that. And I rewrote the entire story. It became much better, and I love the end product. But when I first got her feedback back, I was devastated. I was
Mm,
crushed. I was like, she didn't like it. And then this time, I was actually looking forward to her input because I saw how much she had improved the first one. And so I was like, okay, I think this is a good story, and I really want her to help me make it better. So when I sent it in, it wasn't with fear at all. It was with great anticipation that I knew that what came back from the editor would have made it a stronger story. And so that's the biggest change that I saw in myself, was
mhm.
really seeking out and looking forward to her input, to the editor's input, rather than dreading it and being disappointed or something. So that was a
That's
huge.
good. That's a lot of growth, Martha. That's a lot of growth. And I think a lot of times, we don't think about that for ourselves in writing a children's book. We grow in the process. I love that you were able to see that from book one to book two. So, what about challenges? Were there any big challenges that come to mind when writing or publishing the second book?
The biggest challenge for me in this story is that this dog had a really hard life. And he had a lot of bad things happen to him that I had to take out of the book because it was for children. And
Mm,
so I struggled with, I wanted it to be a true story. I didn't want it to be like a fictional thing. I wanted it to be true, but I also wanted to be sensitive to children and not make it
right.
scary or bad for a child. So I had to figure out how to stay true to his actual story, while being sensitive to a child's world. And so that
Mhm.
was the biggest challenge, was how to make this true story accurate and yet child friendly.
Yes. Well, you did a great job. You did a great job. I think this story is going to resonate with children everywhere. I look forward to, hearing about parents or grandparents reading the story to the children in their life. So, what about, how are you feeling? How does it feel to now have a second children's book out in the world?
So I'm really excited because Rucker's story is actually the first book I wanted to write. That's the one that made me sign up for Children's Book Masterclass, was his story. But I also knew that I didn't know anything about writing a children's book, and I knew nothing about publishing. And so I knew that I would have a steep learning curve and have a lot to just to learn how to do. So I wrote Poppy and Daisy's story first because I wanted to tell their story as well, but they're also young and they're alive. And I figured if I really screwed it up, I could always write them another book. And Rucker has passed on, and I felt like I only got one shot at it. So I wanted to learn first and then make the second one better, which I feel like I have done. And so I'm really excited to have his story out in the world because I just think he was a remarkable dog and he helped so many people. And so I really wanted to have his story out there. And so I'm thrilled that I did it.
Yes, you did. And I will say both books are amazing. Both books are so good. Even though that's what you had to, that was your train of thought. That's how you felt. You have to do one book and then the other. But your first book is also just as good. And of course, this story is very dear to your heart, right? So that's a big difference there. I love that now within a year, you are a children's book author two times. Your first book came out last fall. Mhm.
And my third one is already in editing.
Well, you're a go-getter. You're a go-getter. So, what piece of advice do you have for authors thinking about publishing their second or third book?
Um, My main advice is don't do it by yourself. That just the editing, and your team made some other significant changes to the book along the way to make it better. And don't try to do it by yourself. That having a professional editor, a professional book designer, other sets of eyes looking over your words and your work really make it better. So I would just encourage people to pay for a team somewhere, so that you get other eyes looking, knowledgeable eyes looking at it, not your spouse or your children, and really helping you to make it be the best it can be.
Yes, that's great. Great advice. Martha, I want to ask you about your first book. And is there anything you want to share, a moment when you've shared that book with a child? Just what has come out of being an author from your first book? Is there anything that you want to share? What has been the highlight of being a children's book author for you?
Well, one of the funnest times that so several, but one, we did a read to a horse day at our ranch in the spring. And our local Walmart bought 100 books. And then families came to the ranch with their children, and each family came, got a book, either in English or in Spanish. And then they spread out around the ranch and literally read to the horses.
Oh,
And so
so
that was
special.
really very fun. And so we had Read to a Horse Day, and Poppy and Daisy's book was the book that the kids could read any book they wanted, but we gave them this book as well. Each family got a copy of the book. But another really fun time was, so Poppy and Daisy's book takes place on Chincoteague Island, or Assateague Island, where the wild ponies live. And I was there in July for the 100th pony penning event, and I sold books at a table next to the Wild Horse Corral. And so all these families with kids and grandparents were going by. I sold out of books on the first day. I didn't bring enough. And it was just so fun for them to see, this is a story about wild ponies just like these, and this is what happens to them. And I had just lovely conversations with families as they were going around, learning about the wild ponies, and then getting to share Poppy and Daisy's story with them. So.
Oh, so rewarding, so rewarding. Martha, could you please hold both books up again? I want to remind everybody that they can go to Amazon today. Today's the book launch for Sir Harold Rucker. Go grab a copy of that book, and then, of course, grab a copy of the second book as well. So besides going to Amazon, where else can our viewers find you?
So right now, the best place is on social media. So it's called The Dream Power Tales, and it's on Facebook and Instagram as The Dream Power Tales. And that's the best place right now.
Perfect. Perfect. Everybody go watch her, go follow her on social media. Martha is always putting photos of everything that she's doing. And it's so nice to follow along in the journey of an author as they continue to visit schools and, like you said, go places and what was it? Read a book to a pony?
Read to a Horse Day.
Read to a horse day. I can only imagine the things that you're going to do with this book now and with dogs. So definitely go follow Martha. And Martha, before we go, is there anything else you'd like to share or anything that you wish I would have asked you?
So I just do want to share that today is launch day, and I am having a book launch party, or in California. So this afternoon from 3 to 5 p.m., it's going to be at Operation Freedom Paws, which is a service dog training organization, which is where Rucker got his training. And so we will have real therapy dogs there to greet everybody, and it should be a lot of fun. So it's 3 to 5 p.m. Today in San Martin, California, and it's at Operation Freedom Paws. And so if you're in the area, come on by.
That's perfect. And if you're not, definitely go watch her on social media. You'll be updating us with photos and all the good things. But of course, go grab a copy of this wonderful book today. And Martha, it's been so nice working with you this past couple of years, but you've launched two books in just 11, 12 months. Congratulations on that.
And Miriam, thank you so much to you and your team. They're all wonderful, and thank you.
Our pleasure. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, friends, for being here. Bye, Martha.